Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. Just with your co-partner Anthony. It's a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. So, Anthony, how you doing?
I kind of told you how I was doing right before we started.
So, as for what people don't know, Anthony's foot hurts because he hurt his foot. He has a little boo-boo on there, and he hurt his back of his neck, so he had trouble sleeping last night. Yep. He got dropped from a very high height. What throw was it? It was
Iponse Nage, but he lost control and dropped me at the very top of the height and then drove all his body weight into me. So
sounds fun.
Normally I'm used to being dropped by white belts at the top when they lose control and just drop me at the top. But I'm not used to someone dropping me at the top plus falling on top of me. Like, yeah, it's kind of rough.
Yeah, well, you were going pretty good yesterday at run during practice. You were doing a lot of matches, going pretty hard.
I threw a guy wasn't able to throw. So yeah. But then after that, someone hooked me in the jaw and popped my jaw out of the socket, and I had to pop it back in. And then I couldn't eat last night, so I had to make a protein shake for dinner.
The joys of judo, everyone, getting punched in the jaw. He wasn't dislocated. It wasn't like it was just a little pop out.
Pop back in thing. So it's the second time it happened. So last time it happened was like 2 years ago. So
do you remember the Jet Li movie where he made his own version of Fist of Fury?
Yes, I remember.
Okay. And you remember when he's in the Japanese school and he's fighting all the Aikido jiu-jitsu guys, and he grabs one guy's jaw and he just wraps him around and dislocates it. Yeah. And the guy's like,
So if you guys are watching the YouTube video version of it throughout this episode, if you see me opening my jaw, I'm just like stretching it because it's like super sore. So it's not that I'm talking and there's no audio. It's just I'm stretching it. So
yeah. And then the Aikido master, the jiu-jitsu master, to come in and pop his jaw back into place. I thought I would have to do that to you. I was like, yes, I get to slap Anthony. So, anything else? Anything else you want? Oh, happy Thanksgiving, anybody out there. I know it's going to be a week late. American Thanksgiving for us. So you might get our holiday episode soon. I might dress up for the holiday episode this year again. Yeah. I'm deciding what I want to do.
We had a pretty good attendance in the beginner's class after Thanksgiving. It was good. A lot of people want to work it off. Also, we tell people to come to our Saturday Randori sessions. Stuff that happened to me is not normal. I just had bad luck yesterday, so I'm not to scare everyone off. So
Anthony was going too hard. He pushed himself too much. He asked for it. All right, that's what it was. He was sandbagging people. So, right. So in other judo news, kind of interesting news. American judo player, American national team member, two-time Olympian, Nick Delpopolo wrote an open letter to USA Judo. I think it's a very interesting read. I know a lot of people say it's like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's the same stuff you hear from a lot of ex-players, a lot of ex-American players, because in the United States, they're not as well funded because they're not a very popular sport. America, we're just not popular. That's just how it is. But Anthony, what do you think about the open letter?
I don't want to inject too much opinion because, like you said, everyone already kind of has everyone. It's kind of like you can tell
Anthony's scared about this situation. All right, Anthony's a little scared.
Hey, I'm thinking about you. It's like, oh yeah, it's you're not gonna get your fourth degree black belt one because your co-host said this thing.
No. My co-host says, all right, I'll do it. Give me a 100-man kumite. I'll fight everybody. Come on.
No. So it's a lot of this stuff has already been repeated before. So you can tell I didn't sleep last night. That's why I'm thinking kind of slow. It might be better because I usually talk really fast. So, but yeah, most people have been talking about this for years, and it's just same story heard over and over and over again. Same story as what Rhonda said. Same story as what Kayla and Travis and Jimmy said. Like, that's why. What was that saying says? Like, if it smells like shit everywhere you go, you should check your shoe.
Well, it's like, it's you saying it, where there's smoke, there's fire. All right.
USA Judo is always like, oh yeah, they're asking for too much money. Oh, they're just upset about this. Oh, like they're saying like Nick's upset about not getting funding and how he's like past his prime and all that stuff. Like, come on, Nick's not the only one that says it. Like if multiple people throughout time has said the same stuff and still happening, it's like, what's the common denominator there, right? USA Judo,
USA Judo seems to be in the center of all these things. Well, it's funny because his open letter says a lot of the same stuff that Travis Stevens did an episode on one of his podcasts, or his YouTube channel before he did the podcast, I think it was. And he's explained the same thing, how people may think that even him as a high player gets all this like rewards or funding and help and stuff. It's like, no, I actually have to work or go donations and a lot of stuff that I do, I pay for myself. And he was explaining how much he has to pay out of pocket to do it.
Yeah, everyone knows that. And then USA Judo is just like, we don't have money, which is, you can't blame them. That's true. They don't have money either. Yeah. But it's like, what are you doing about it? I mentioned it on Reddit. It's like, yeah, the money is a symptom. It's not the root cause. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing to address the root cause? And that's a whole different discussion. I don't want to get into that. But other than that, the one more thing I want to note is that I don't really, how do I put this? A lot of people were I saw a lot of people on Facebook were putting blame on Keith Bryant. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know the insides of how the organization works, but people have to understand the CEO has a lot of power, but he doesn't control everything. There's still like politics. And I'm sure there's a board in USA Judo that can get rid of them too. Mm-hmm. So he still has to play politics and do his job well to keep his job. And before COVID, he brought the USA Judo back into black financially. So that's something, but there's all other stuff that's in play. Like many people have said, like, why is there a guy who hasn't done judo before the CEO? I'm like, well, you don't need to know judo to be a CEO. You just need to hire the right people that know about judo.
You have a good business sense.
Yeah, you're running an organization. So as a CEO, you're not going to be doing the promotions. You're not like the belt promotions. You're not going to be running the events, right? You choose the right people to do that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's a little unfair when people use that as a reason to criticize Keith Bryant. Mm-hmm. Now, with that said, if you read the letter, I'm not going to go into it. I was just surprised at some of the things that Nick Delpopolo claimed that Keith Bryant said. Like,
I can see it though. I can
go read the letter for yourself. I can't imagine him saying that, but I also can't imagine Nick was lying about it. Mm-hmm. So, I was just surprised overall. But grand scheme of things doesn't really affect me because, again, like I said, I don't really give a crap about competitive judo. So I only care about recreational judo and increasing like how it affects me locally, how I can get more training partners in the dojo, stuff like that. I don't care about competition. So, I kind of do, but yeah, just not to the extent that a lot of people in the judo community treat and think about competition. So,
well, for me, I kind of just think that if it shines a light on this, hopefully people will look at it and be like, maybe we should support our national athletes more, the USA team members, because there was
with what money though? That's the thing. Like,
no, but this is listen where I'm going to though. That's where I'm going to. That they can see is like, okay, well, if USA Judo is having so much trouble, how about I sponsor it? How about we can get some big companies to sponsor USA Judo somehow? I'm hoping that maybe somebody, maybe the CEO or someone out there that did judo as a kid, big major corporation that loved judo and was like, you want to know what? I like judo. I'm gonna help support judo. I'm gonna support, and I'm not saying go sport. That's where I'm gonna get a little heat maybe for this one. Maybe not go direct to USA Judo. Maybe go look on the national roster and see if there's a player in your area or where you live, or someone that comes from where you live. That I want to support that person. I want to give that person a job or give that person sponsorship money so they can go to tournaments or they can train full time more.
If for those people who are listening to this who hasn't listened to our interview with Carrie Chandler, that's Nick Delpopolo's wife and also manager, former national team member. She's also a manager. She's a great coach. Go listen to that episode. She suggested some of those suggestions that you talked about. It's just like USA Judo said, just like either said no or just straight up ignored him. And that's not the first time I've heard that from. Carrie's not the only person I've heard that from. So,
but this is what I'm saying. Skip the USA Judo and look for a person on the team that you like.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So that's basically what they're doing now. But the problem with that is it's kind of like throwing money at the problem, yet not solving it for the long term. Because when you donate them money to them, the only way they can get better is go to training camps and tournaments abroad. That's what they're spending that money on. They're not building I know we just talked about how we hate the word grassroots, but they're not growing the judo community. They're not growing grassroots judo. They're just going to Japan to train, they're going to Europe to train, to compete. It's not doing anything for the local judo community. So I feel like they need to solve that problem first. Is why aren't we at that level? It's because we don't have the training partners. Why don't we have the training partners? Because we don't have that judo base. How do we grow that judo base? So it all goes back to recreational people. Recreational people are the ones that are paying the bills, like the membership, the tournaments, their kids, like they're the ones that are paying it. But if you keep alienating them and just focus on super competitive judo, then these people are going to leave, which is exactly what's happening. And a lot of people are already asking, what am I paying this membership for?
Yeah. Well, what you're paying membership for is because most of your dojos don't have their own house insurance. In case anything happens to you, we don't want to get sued or
more and more people are getting sick of their shit and is finding other ways around it. So
well, you can if you have your own dojo, if you have your own personal dojo, you can go get your own martial art insurance. I had to do it before when I had a karate dojo. So
I know a couple of friends that open a dojo and they teach judo, or they teach a mix of judo and BJJ. And the only time that they paid or told their students to go sign up for a membership is if they compete. They're like, I paid for USA Judo just so my athletes can go compete, or I can get a rank to promote my students. None of them were like us, how we pay like all three memberships. Like,
no, you pay all three. I mix between them and stuff, whichever one expires, I go to the next one.
Basically, most people aren't doing it unless they have to. They're not. It's not like it's no longer the requirement. And if they keep letting judo decline in numbers like that, essentially I'm seeing the only way judo is going to survive is being like once a week class at a BJJ club or at a MMA gym. And then you might have some really old big judos in big cities that stay, like maybe us in LA, Tenri, and then like Jimmy Pedro's judo. But then like everywhere else, it's going to be less and less judo. I heard Portland Judo is closing down. So, are
you serious?
Yeah, they just sold it to a BJJ place, I think.
No.
Yeah.
So that's sad. That's really sad. Like I was about to say, like I would never see judo just go away, but yeah, like as much as like I always joke around, like where my sister lives. My sister lives in a smaller border town, and when I was going to go visit her one time, I looked at, let me see if there's a judo club in her area. There was 5 BJJ clubs in this small town and 1 community judo club. And I was like, how are there 5 BJJ clubs in this tiny town? But there is. That's just how it is. BJJ is just popular like that. But that's going to rant into another thing. So it's a really good article. Read it if you want to. It may open your eyes. And like we said, like my thing is like, if you're someone out there that has some money, maybe think about sponsoring a judo player, or maybe just contacting USA Judo, maybe getting a sponsorship through them directly. I know a lot of people, they want that American judo symbol or that the Olympic symbol they put on their letterhead that we sponsor people. I know that. I know
very few people. Well, you can't use, that's the thing that Carrie talked about in the interview, is that you can't use the USA Judo or Olympic symbols. So you just be able to say like, I sponsor Nick Delpopolo.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Contact USA Judo directly if you want that symbol.
You need something back when you usually donate. Like I can see people donating like maybe $1,000 or $2,000 if they're like they really want to support the athletes. But those big money donations, they want something back in terms of marketing.
That'd be great. I get a used car dealership guy. I get a USA athlete and just throwing cars, which are great deals here at so-and-so used cars. We got blah, blah, blah.
That's what they did in Japan and some other countries also, is that in the training montages, they have like the athletes pulling the cars and
there was, this could be kind of interesting for anyone that, so at our dojo, it is now going off topic again. We're talking about sponsorships. So at our dojo, we rent out our dojo sometimes for movie productions and TV and commercials. About 3, maybe almost 4 years ago now, might have been 4, maybe 3. I can't remember because I never saw the commercial. We rented our dojo out for oh my God.
Commercial. Yeah.
It was what car company was it? Do you remember?
You told me it was Acura, but I never saw the ad. So maybe
I think, yeah. I want to say it was an Acura commercial. It was some nice car commercial and stuff. And their thing was a guy that went on to town, trained judo and stuff. So they rented our dojo. They had a bunch of people there that weren't good at judo. I had to actually teach everybody how to do like basic ippon so nagi. Like, okay, you do ippon so nagi, you do ogoshi. Okay, you just do uchikomi. You just pull in like this. And they had who was it? Takahashi in the commercial.
Yeah, Takahashi from Tenri.
Yeah. So from LA Tenri, they had Takahashi, their head instructor. He actually was chosen to be the judo player doing the judo with the actor in the commercial. And I was like, hey, we got a judo commercial there. Why can't we get some more of them? But again, I never saw the commercial on TV. Yeah. They never sent us the reel like they were supposed to. So I don't know if that commercial even saw the light of day. If you see it out there, let me know. You see Hollywood Judo.
Yeah, I tried looking for it.
Behind me. See this behind me. It should look like this, or point Anthony behind you. It should look like that. All right.
Well, if you check our Hollywood Judo Instagram, you posted it, but we post. Our dojo has been used for a karate dojo many times. So
yes. Yeah. Our latest one was on the TV show Blind Spotting.
Yeah.
Blind Spotting. It was a Stars TV show. It's based off a movie that came out last year. It's actually a really fun show, but they use our dojo as a karate dojo. I swear, most of the time we rent out our dojo, it gets used for karate or kung fu. It's only been used maybe for judo twice. But that was an interesting little thing there. Side note. All right. So we get a lot of viewer questions. We try to answer them. We try to either answer you directly or we try to just talk about it during the episode. But this time we had 2 really interesting ones. So the first one we got was a question about, so here in the United States, I think maybe probably all countries maybe does this, or countries that aren't super popular in judo does this, that they're trying to develop different ways to use judo or do judo to create more competitors or get more people interested to come. So this past week, or maybe 2 weeks by the time this video comes out, we had the President's Cup in the United States. At the President's Cup, they decided to add a division. Instead of adding Kosen Judo, which they were talking about.
Kosen Judo is a USJA thing. That's why.
Oh, was that USJA? Okay. I thought I was wondering why it wasn't that. So USJA decided that they're going to start adding Kosen Judo tournaments to their regular tournaments or divisions. So what USA Judo did is that they decided, it's a very funny name. I know people are going to laugh when they see this name. Okay. It's basically Judo. So the name exactly was Judo Submission Grappling. Basically, those are 3 words meaning the same exact thing, in my opinion. It is grappling. Ground martial arts, grappling martial art, grappling. This is what I hear it,
This reminds me of those. If you ever, because I work for the military and stuff, and it kind of triggers me a little bit whenever people use those acronyms. Like, the PIN number. Like a PIN is like personal identification number. So it's like personal identification number. Oh no! I got one for. I got a better one for you. We live in Los Angeles. We have a baseball team. We have the Los Angeles Angels. All right, the Angels. Oh yeah, Los Angeles Angels. Yeah. All right. Never think about that, did you? Angels. Yeah. But also in the military, they have a common access card. Like people who work for the government know a common access card. They call it a CAC. And then you see people, CAC. So now you have a common access card when you call it a CAC card.
You get a CAC card. Yeah. Oh, there's something else we use in production. It's the same way like that. I can't remember what it was, but it's, you basically say the same thing twice. But yeah, so this new thing that they started, it happened this past week or 2 weeks ago by the time this video comes out. So it was the Judo Submission Grappling. I remember when this thing first popped up, everyone's like, oh, leg grabs are back. Oh, Morne Waza time. Oh, it's going to do this and be that. It's still going to be this amazing thing. And to me, it's like, okay, it's something different. It's just, I don't know why they don't just call it like Kano Judo rules or old school judo or original judo rules. Cause that's basically what they're doing. The only thing that's different about this one is that they're making it a point-based system. So even if I throw you for ippon, it doesn't win. The only way I win automatically by the rules that I was looking at, and this would confuse me because it's a very short little thing they put out there for rules, was by submission. So if I threw you and choked you out, that's an automatic win. Or if I got you to the ground somehow and arm barred you, that's automatic win, I think. Because so let me go through the rule sets for pull this stuff right here. All right. So let me go the rule set. So it would be a regular length match. So I assume that would be either 3 minutes for novice and 4 minutes for adults, with a 1 minute overtime that can only be settled by a submission. It didn't say nothing about points. I didn't really understand that. So, but let me get to the point system. Let me get over here. Okay. So scoring for a high amplitude throw, it would be 4 points. So if I threw you with any throw, ippon sonagi, taitoshi, haragoshi, something's up in the air, it'd be 4 points. So if I throw you, I get 4 points. Okay. For a wrestling takedown, okay, it would be, or a judo throw that would be worth a yuko, which gets a little confusing because yuko, koka, all that kind of stuff. It would be 2 points. So if I got you with a morotogari, and I'm assuming that if I didn't get you up in the air to slam you, it'll only be 2 points. Or if it's just a morotogari where I just dive in and take you directly to the ground, like on your butt to your back immediately, would that just be 2 points?
See, I feel like when I first read those rules, I didn't like it because precisely like the things
what I'm saying right there.
About.
You have confusion.
And then we all know how that goes. It becomes a gray area, and then the refs kind of just
and the ref decides, well, there's some height on that. Oh no, it was down to the ground. Oh, it was on his knees the entire time. And like, what you choose? What's like? I guess we all know what a high amplitude throw is.
Yeah,
but to some people, like what if I get the guy just up enough and slam him, but he doesn't go on his back? So he's on his side. So that should be a yuko, or but because I slammed him, it was high amplitude.
My interpretation is it's a yuko. That's my interpretation. Yeah. But that's why you can't just like. I'll tell you about what I think about the rules later. But that's why I feel like you can't just like throw a tournament together like this and it seems very last minute, you know. Like,
and imagine you're fighting because there was nothing about ippon or 2 ippon, 3 ippons get a win. You're fighting the full 3 minutes or 4 minutes. So I'm imagining like the first minute or so, there's gonna be a lot of action. And then the last 2 minutes, they're dead. They're just hanging on each other or just bad, ugly wrestling at that point. So those are the takedowns. Those are the takedowns division. So wrestling takedowns or yukos are 2 points. High amplitude throws would most likely be an ippon, would be 4 points. Okay.
So the 2 points is, like you said, any wrestling takedowns or judo yuko throws. Yeah. Also, apparently snap downs, like snapping someone down, like with a collar or arm drags, and then you spin and take the back. That's also 2 points, apparently.
Yeah. But that would be a wrestling takedown. Oh, sorry. Yeah. As me, it's going up with a wrestler to me. That's a wrestling takedown. To me. So for me, I'm like, that's not judo anymore. You know, like if I do what they call, what they call it. I was at my catch wrestling, and someone's like, "Hey, Juan, can you do a Russian arm drag?" And I was like, "What's a Russian arm drag?" And he showed him like, "You mean just an arm drag? Why are we adding the Russian to it?" I don't understand this. But yeah, a snap down or snap down into an arm drag would be 2 points. So that's a wrestling takedown. All right. Guard pass or a back control, which I don't know what that means. If I just take the back, if I can get a referee's position, or if I gotta get the hooks
back control. Again, it's very. They're not talking about in BJJ sense. They kind of specify you have to get both hooks in. You can get one hook. There's no points, but back control is just like they didn't say it. So does that mean there's hooks? Like
that's what I'm asking. Is it like referee's position where at least I got my hip on, I got one leg hip on him and stuff. I got my body lock on him or something. What would be back control? But that's 2 points. So I throw you down to the ground. All right. You roll over, but I take your back. So I assume you need
to get the hooks in. I got
6 points right there. All right. And that's 10 seconds already in the match, or 30 seconds in the match. All right. Of a 3 to 4 minute long match. All right. And then was it mount, knee on belly, sweeps, submission attacks, attempts where the opponent is in danger, which is interesting. That might go to our next topic. Because again, it's what is in danger to people. What does someone feel is in danger? What someone's not feeling danger? All of that right there is 1 point. So I throw you. Okay, I get you my taitoshi.
I'm sticking my 2 fingers out, pointing at your eyes. Like,
all right. So I grab you. I go in for my taitoshi. I snap you down with my taitoshi. I get 4 points for that. All right. When you go down, you belly out immediately. So then I take your back. That's another 2 points. That's 4. It's 5, 6. All right. Then I roll you over to get guard to get on a top mount. Cause I'm going to roll you over because I'm going to go for like
top mount's another 1 point. Yep.
That's another 1 point. That's 6 points right there. Mm-hmm. To me, that's still less than a minute.
Yep.
All right.
So, again, on BJJ rules, the mount, you have to have control. You can't just like mount for a second and you get a point. Knee on belly, I think it's 3 seconds. You have to have knee on belly for 3 seconds. You can't just like put your knee on belly. Oh, that's 1 point. Like, no, you have to do that. Yeah. So the problem with that is, which I see a lot in BJJ competition. Okay. I don't think there's a problem, but what I personally don't like about it is it's more apparent when there's a huge skill discrepancy between the two competitors. If people give up dominant positions to transition to other stuff to score more points.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
Yeah. Like you have top mount, you give up top mount, go on knee and belly, then go back to top mount. Then you go on your back, then go for a sweep. Like, to me, that's like, it doesn't make sense to do that. You're giving up strong.
I'm assuming also
positions.
I'm assuming, because I didn't read this in there, but I'm assuming that because we're judo, we're action-based sport, that if they feel there's any time that's supposed to be passive or they're not working towards a submission or something, they'll just stand you back up, I assume. I hope that's that. I didn't get to watch any of the matches. I should have, actually, now think about it. Did you watch any of these matches, Anthony?
No, I haven't had time.
No. So that was this judo. What was the name of the thing again? Judo submission grappling that they tried at the last President's Cup. If you tried it out, let us know what you thought about it. Let us know how you liked it, if you didn't like it. Because to me, it just seems like if I don't get a rear naked choke, if I don't get an arm bar and don't finish the match fast that way, I'm gonna have to continue fighting for 4 minutes straight. And that's just like, in my mind, even if you got good cardio, that's a killer. You work hard to throw somebody, and say I don't want to do Newazu with you. I throw you, then stand back up, throw you, stand back up. Do they even have like a point system where if I have, like in wrestling, if I have 6 points ahead of you or 10 points ahead of you?
No, they don't.
All right. So they didn't. So I can get like 20 points or 50 points, like crazy 50 points, but a bunch of points just if I just keep throwing you, stand up, throw you, stand up, throw you, stand up.
So here's what I think. Without Ippon, like Ippon throws, it's not judo. That's my opinion. I don't care about the Newaza rules. Like without Ippon, it's not judo. That's number one. Number two, I feel like they should just use the freestyle wrestling judo. Not freestyle wrestling, freestyle judo rules. For those who are unfamiliar, Steve Scott, kind of controversial, but Steve Scott, part of the AAU, they do freestyle judo, which they claim to be like old school judo, which I don't think is old school judo, because if you want to be old school judo, you wouldn't call it freestyle judo, and then you wouldn't
you just call it Kano judo.
You wouldn't do the rules the way that they do it. But in this case, I think freestyle judo rules would be more appropriate for this, because there are the ippons, there are the pins for wins, and there's also like you said,
that wasn't a thing. That wasn't a thing in there. If I hold a guy down for 20 seconds, do I get 1 point for that? No, I don't. Would that be no. Hold on. Okay, would that be a submission attempt? Because no. Oh man. Okay, so if I pin a guy, I'm holding a guy down. Like I'm holding him here. I ain't letting him up. I ain't getting nothing. I ain't getting no 1 or 2 or 3, nothing. No points for no pins.
These rules. Yeah, let me finish my thought first, though.
All right,
but the freestyle wrestling rules, there are points like that too. Like Ippon is like you have a high amplitude score, then you get Ippon. There's Wazaris, and then you get points for Yukos and sweeps and stuff like that. And when you, like you said, in wrestling, when you have a huge margin, you automatically win. Like where you're just dominating the opponent and you just win.
Yeah.
I feel like in the spirit of judo, that's the kind of rule set they should have went with this. But by reading the rules, you can tell they're totally trying to cater to the BJJ crowd, because there's no pins, because BJJ people love to put B on their back.
They hate pins.
Because they love to be on their back. And if you put being on the back and being pinned as his winning condition, it kind of throws everything else out the door, like the guard passes, the knee on belly and all that kind of stuff. And which leads to my next point. I feel like the whole reason they did this was to raise money. It was not an attempt to grow judo. because clearly it's not judo, like I said.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to rake in money back after the
pandemic.
The pandemic.
Yeah.
And President's Cup, it's a President's Cups and what was it? Dallas Invitationals is what the back-to-back tournament.
Mm-hmm. With
the two tournaments back-to-back, it's one of the largest tournaments in a year for the year, especially now that Winter Nationals is canceled. All those other big tournaments are canceled. Yeah. This is the tournament to bring where there's a lot of people there. So why not try and convince some BJJ people to try and pay that registration fee, or get the people who cross-train in BJJ, and a lot of serious judokas actually cross-train BJJ. Like most, you know, a lot of people do that, right? Train both judo and BJJ. Why not get them to pay the extra $40, $50 to join another division, you know? Mm-hmm. So they're there already. Might as well do it, right? And
yeah. No, I'm not giving them flack. I'm not giving them flack for trying it out. I think there's a lot of, like we said, there's a lot of holes in it and questions about positions and things, because that's actually something that comes up in our next, like I said, the next topic of the whole thing of attempts. Like, what would be if I have a guy and I'm like, say they're really like blocking their head like old school way, okay, and I'm trying to get a choke on somebody. Is me trying to put my hands in there an attempt, or do I have to have the choke all the way cinched in? Hands clasped, ear to ear, right here, trying to choke guy. How to is that the attempt right there?
That's why I think this is just a money grab, because they're like, we need to come up with these rules fast to make it to the President's Cup for people to sign up and do this so they can bring in money. I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing, unless for whatever reason it was a huge success. Then maybe they'll do it. They'll iron down the rules a little more. But to me, it's just a one-time cash grab kind of thing. Like if they were more serious about doing it, even the Kosen judo rules by USJA, that's a better alternative, because that's something that a judoka that's never done leg grabs before, never done BJJ before. That's something that they can, I feel like, comfortably adapt
go into directly.
Yeah, but I don't see anyone that's only does pure judo and only been training judo for maybe a year to 2 years would go into the submission grappling thing and like know what's going on or have the skill sets to handle it, because you already removed the ippon, you removed the pins, and that's like most of what beginners learn.
Exactly what you said. If you take out the ippon from the throw, which is what we teach most beginners nowadays to do first, that's the one thing immediately they're just like, okay, so if I can't get the ippon for the throw and I can't pin the guy, so I have to attempt a submission. What submissions do I know? Do I know enough chokes? Am I good enough at chokes? If they're not a brown bar or above, do they even, if they are above a brown bar or just getting brown bar, how good are they at arm bars? How good are they defending arm bars? Yep. But you do get the whole thing of how you do like I always talk about immediately when you throw somebody. Like I don't like throwing somebody and then looking at the referees and be like, was that ippon? Was that Wazari? What was it? I always talk about throwing and immediately going to pin, or throwing and immediately going to submission. So for guys like me that's trained that's kind of before, maybe this would be more interesting for that. So I can throw a guy use my Tai Toshi and immediately go into my arm bar, or throw somebody and immediately roll over, go in for a Kurihijime or something like that. Okay.
So another thing that, again, it's clear that it's targeted towards BJJ people. It's like leg locks are allowed, not in the kids in division, novice division, but leg locks are allowed. Like we don't teach leg locks in judo. So why are you calling this judo submission grappling?
Especially something like leg locks. That's another thing. Leg locks. If you're a black belt in judo, okay, especially if you're a second dan in judo, you know the basics of leg locking. Okay, you might not be great at it, but you know the basics because you had to do the kata to get your black belt. Okay, so leg locks maybe should. Just my opinion.
So second degree. Second degree.
Yeah. Second degree black belt.
Most places don't make you do kime no kata, kata me no kata for shodan.
Oh, really? Well, I had to.
Yeah. But, for your shodan? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, most places don't do that.
Yeah, for my shodan. No, for my knee dan. For my knee dan, I had to do it. But it should be, at least then, black belt and above are allowed to do leg locks. You must be a black belt above, because you don't want no BJJ guy that has because what they do, they'll come in with a blue belt or purple belt, start judo and be like, oh, I'm going to do this turn right here and do a bad takedown or pull guard. Oh yeah, you weren't allowed to pull guard. I think I read that in here.
You can't pull guard. Yeah. That's the one redeeming quality.
No pulling guard. So
you lose 2 points, which is something that people have been telling BJJ to do. Like a lot of people, because recently there's been a more resurgence of people finding judo takedowns and wrestling takedowns more important than BJJ. And a lot of people are like, yeah, if you pull guard, you should lose 2 points. Like, yeah, just I totally agree. As someone who also trains BJJ, I would like that.
But if you get, so like I was saying, if you get someone that's only a blue belt or purple belt in BJJ, they've done it for a while. Like you got purple belt in BJJ, you've been doing BJJ for a while. Like what, 4, maybe 5 years at that point, most likely. And you're going straight into judo and you do this tournament. Are you going to be just doing bad wrestling takedowns or your good ippon so nagi, your good ogoshi that you've learned from judo or sotogari, and then immediately legging a guy, just taking a leg, heel hooking a guy, straight knee bar or something, to a white belt that might not know nothing, that just wanted to try this out for fun?
Even a lot of black belts don't know leg locks, like heel hooks, or like maybe knee bars, knee reaping, and ankle locks they'll know. But imagine a black belt in a black belt division, they're allowed to do leg locks, and someone who does BJJ heel hooks him. And we all know how heel hooks you have to tap early. Fast. Just by the time you feel the pain, it's too late. Your knee is jacked up. So it just doesn't look very safe to me from that the leg locks point of view. Yeah. And so
but I agree with your point that they probably just like, we need money, let's do this, you know. USJA is bringing in Kosen Judo. Okay. We got freestyle judo. We need to do something to start adding to our divisions to get more people in, get more money. Let's do this. And with that, so here in the US, let me make this little announcement. You and me might be taking a road trip. So here in the US in May, I believe it's May 15th or 17th. I can't remember what day I looked at it now. That one. USA Nationals will be held in the biggest little city in the US, Reno, Nevada.
I'll do that. I prefer that than Florida.
So if it is going to be held in Reno, it doesn't get canceled, and see how much flights cost, or if Anthony wants to drive to Reno, we take a nice day trip or a 2-day trip to Reno. God, I mean, Anthony, you guys ever driven Anthony? He's crazy. All right. And he's crazy when he drives. He has a dash cam for him and everything. He's scary. No, he's good. He's actually a very good driver. But if it is going to be held in Reno, I think I'm going to go to USA Nationals this year to go compete. And if they have this division there, I might try it out just to give our viewers more of an insight later into it as my experience from doing it. Anthony, would you be interested in doing it?
It depends on how my knee feels. It's been feeling better, but I didn't talk about it in the beginning, but my physical therapist actually said I'm overtraining, which is to me, I'm not overtraining, but then I'm comparing it to how I was training before I hurt my knee. So he told me to tone it down a bit to give it more time to heal. Cause every time it feels better, I train harder because I'm like, oh, it feels good. Let me do more. And then he's like, no, that's not helping. So, so I need to,
it's 6 months from now. Okay. We got 6 months to decide if you want to compete or just want to go.
Hey, if not, I'll do the coaching, and I know Philippe suggested it. We should do like interviews. Like I feel like that would help grow the sport because USA Judo doesn't output any of those content. So I could ask maybe USA Judo for permission to go around and interview people. They do tape, interview people. I know a lot of people just
too many kids don't know what videotape is. It's a cassette thing that you put. It's actually tape. No, I'm joking. We use a GoPro or something.
Philippe was like, just do it. I'm like, no, like I don't want to get kicked out. Like you should ask for permission. That's the
we just keep running around. Every time we see somebody, we run to somebody else. Where's the spy camera here? But but given another thing that has happened, I don't know if people are following, but cops were being called on some of the coaches. That's another. Nick Delpopolo is one of them, which I think is the reason why he wrote that, one of the straw that broke the camel's back for him to write that letter. But I feel like they'd be wary of us during recording. So it's like, you know how people like, look at this bad call from the ref, like that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to be. We can't film towards the mat. Then we have to film towards.
I'll be like, I won't film. Else. I won't film the matches and stuff. But anyway, there's stuff like that to consider. But if you are listening, let us know whether that be something you're interested in. Then I get that. I'll start talking to people and get permission to do that. Hopefully, but yeah, Reno. I mean, I think they should do it in Death Valley. It'll be like some Dragon
outside,
Ball,
outside, no tarp, just mats. Oh my God. It would be like the Cell Saga all over again. Yeah. Oh, I'm dating myself now. I'm talking about the Cell Saga. Juan's old.
Death Valley, or do it in National Park. That'll be cool. Like imagine doing it. You do it in Yosemite. That'll be awesome. Though it's pretty far from the nearest hospital, I think. So
you're screwed. Oh, we got some good nurses on hand.
No, but if we do it in Death Valley, at least it'll be pretty easy to dispose of bodies. So.
Okay, so that was our thoughts on, God, I'm going to forget this name again. Judo Submission Grappling. Yeah, so we might actually do it, give some more insight, have some fun when we go to the biggest little city in the U.S. We go to Reno. 911.
Yeah.
I might get 911 called on us. All right, so another question we had that was a really good one that I liked a lot, that we wanted to go into depth to, because it was very similar to this one. So this is something that I thought was very interesting. So a lot of people talk about this last Olympics in Rio and now in Tokyo again, how BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is not in the Olympics. Should it be an Olympic sport? How to get into the Olympics? How would we get it there? And one of the things that people don't understand is that one people don't get is that how judo, we have one, well, in the US we have three, but it all leads to one governing body. It all leads to the IJF, which is the Olympic body.
So to expand on that, for people who are unfamiliar with Olympics, there's the International Olympic Committee, and then the International Olympic Committee gives out, like, under them, each sport has an international governing body. For us, for judo, it's the IJF, right? And then the IJF will give out, I forgot the word for it, credentials, sanctions, whatever, to a national governing body for each country. And if you go back to one of our previous episodes where we talked about Sambo becoming Olympic sports and Muay Thai, we kind of go into that. So basically, in the US, it's USA Judo. Yeah. In France, it's Judo France. In Canada, is Judo Canada. In UK, it's the British Judo Association. So each country has one recognized Olympic governing body, and then they respond to the IJF, and the IJF is under the IOC, the International Olympic Committee. Okay.
So with that, so people are asking, like, why can't we get BJJ in it? We want to get BJJ. Well, BJJ is a very, I know I might get some heat for the same.
I feel like we already talked about this, but
we have, but it has to go into explaining what this is.
Yeah.
We'll say, so BJJ doesn't have an official governing body. They're all splinter cells. You know, I don't get my BJJ black belt from the IBJJF or the.
You technically can.
You can, yeah. But you can, but I may not. I may just get my BJJ black belt from so-and-so that got their BJJ black belt under so-and-so that got their BJJ black belt under so-and-so. It goes lineage that way.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I say, yeah, I have a black belt in judo under USJF, USJA, and USA Judo. You have a black belt under USA Judo, you know? Mm-hmm. So we have, like, our black belts are directly from the governing body, where most BJJ, not all, most BJJ, you get it just from your head instructor. And you have don't you have to memorize your own lineage? So when people ask you where you get it from, you have to tell them who it's from. You don't have to
say the whole lineage, but usually when you say, like, unless your instructor's like a no name, like nobody knows them, then you'd be like, oh yeah, he's under so-and-so. Like I don't think you recognize the whole lineage. You just say, like, oh, he got it from his sensei who is under this guy who everyone knows, usually is what.
Or my dojo's a Basie Baja dojo or something, right?
Basie Baja.
Did I say Gracie? More heat. Juan said the name wrong on purpose. I know he did. What shirt am I wearing today?
Yeah, I mean, Gracie Baja, everyone knows. So yeah.
All right. So because there's no single governing body, that makes it very hard for them to become a fully Olympic sport. What they would need to do is, again, the IOC would have to create a BJJ division, and then, like we said before, would have to create sanctioning bodies in each country.
Yeah,
and then you have to register your black belt to that division. You know,
I think IBJJF, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to be Olympics, and IBJJF, for those who aren't familiar with it, they're actually a business, and they're mostly owned by Gracie Baja. Actually, they're not like a separate entity. basically Gracie Barra.
Yeah.
And
that's why I use them the most, because I know people know them the most, and people know their big tournaments.
Yeah. And we talked about the criteria is to become a provisional Olympic sport like Muay Thai and stuff. You have to have like X amount of countries. You have to have both women and men. You have to have weight divisions and stuff like that. So they're trying to do that. Like their reach is pretty global. Gracie Barra, you can find Gracie Barra almost anywhere in the world. So,
okay. So yeah, you can find it in most parts of the world. So that's going to be the more interesting part when we get to this later. So the question was, what do we think about the UWW creating gi BJJ tournaments and no gi BJJ tournaments? Or what the UWW is, United World Wrestling. They are the ones that are in charge of freestyle and Greco wrestling for the Olympics. That is wrestling's IJF. Okay. So think of it as the IJF decided that we're going to create a BJJ division in our company or in our tournaments, whatever you want to do it. So we're asked, what do we think about that? And I thought that was very interesting, because that would be, in my opinion, a much easier route to become an Olympic sport, because you're already being run by an Olympic company, by already a sport that already knows what to do, how it's run, how to get stuff done. So I looked at the rules, and we're going to go over them right now and stuff. But the one thing I thought was very interesting about me is that we're talking about the IBJJF. I'm thinking that the IBJJF mostly only, this will sound terrible, focuses on more richer countries with money, because I only hear about them in America, Brazil,
it's kind of true.
Middle East and stuff, and certain part like France, I think there, and maybe Great Britain. But when I looked up the UWW, most of their tournaments were Eastern Europe, or all Europe. Mostly they were all Europe, all European tournaments, and mostly Eastern European tournaments. And even the instructional videos I was finding were all in Russian. Like, so, they're all in Russian. I'm trying to find, I need some subtitles. What is he saying?
Well, wrestling has a lot of government fundings in poorer countries, and BJJ doesn't. So it makes total sense.
They have no funding. Yeah.
Yeah. From a business point of view, again, going back to judo, you need money to do everything, right? So it makes sense to start off with the rich countries, grow the sport, and then once you have the network, the money, the influence, to expand to the poorer countries where you basically you're dumping money in it and it's going to lose money. Yeah. You can afford to do that at that point, then that's when you do it. But from a business sense, growing the sport, it makes sense to target the richer countries first.
Yeah. So with I see the UWW creating the BJJ division with gi and no gi, I think it's very interesting, because that can, like I said, make it very easier for them to get to the Olympics. Now, I'm wondering if this is going to get more traction. Are more countries going to accept this? Are we going to see more of those tournaments around?
It'll be hard, because it's, number one, they're not Brazilian. number two,
but they're a legit federation. They're in the Olympics already.
IBJJF, as much as people hate, like if you look at the community, a lot of people hate them on how they do the belt rankings, how to do the fees. Basically, if you don't pay them, it was one of the major complaints is that if you don't pay them to verify your belt rank, you can't compete in that belt rank. So let's say you've been doing no gi for like 2 years, or you used to wrestle or something and you're really good. And I promote you to, I want to say like, oh, you're like a blue or purple belt. I give you that promotion to purple belt or something.
Yeah.
In IBJJF, because you didn't pay me to promote this guy to a blue belt for time and grade, he can't go to purple belt. He has to continue competing in white or blue belt and destroy all those other people. That is forced sandbagging, essentially.
Forced sandbagging. Okay.
Yeah. So let's say you're at brown belt level. I can't give you a brown belt, and then you can compete in brown belt and IBJJF. I have to pay for your blue belt. You got to wait X amount of years, and then give you your purple belt X amount of years, and pay for your brown, but that way. So a lot of stuff are a money grab. There's issues like that to be resolved.
So that's our thoughts on just the situation of the UWW creating their own BJJ division with gi and no gi. I think it's much easier. Well, we're going to see in the future who wins out. If this just becomes an Eastern European thing or just a European thing, because all the videos I saw, everything was in Europe and Eastern Europe. A lot of Russian videos, a lot of was it Georgian videos I saw also on it and stuff. So let's go down to the crux of it now. So what's the thing? the first thing I looked at it when I looked at their rule book, or the first one I looked at, which might have been the old one, is that it was kind of like judo, which so there had to be you had to have a white gi for the white side and a blue gi on the blue side. And the same thing for no gi, you had to have a white rash guard for the white side and then a blue rash guard for the blue side. Then I think it changed because when I was looking at the videos and everything, and this actually I thought was interesting, is in wrestling, we have the blue side and the red side. And when I was growing up, we also had some tournaments that were kind of cheaper, had green side. Mm-hmm. It was like,
I've seen the green thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We would have a green side instead of a blue side. So because this is an Olympic thing, this all run by Olympic, people was like, all right, screw this white gi stuff. We don't want to be probably, it's also, they probably didn't want to be too, how would you say? They don't want people thinking they're just biting off judo, cheating off judo,
A lot of sports are like that.
Yeah, we want to be considered we're too similar to them or we're too same. Like, screw, we get change our thing. So I noticed that a lot of the videos I was watching, there was a red side and a blue side. It wasn't really, it was a red gi side. They call it the red gi side and the blue gi side. And it made me open up my eyes because I was like, oh, is that why I keep seeing all these BJJ gis on sales that are selling these red gis now? They're not really red gis. They're like maroon gis or burgundy gis. I'm like, oh, is that why I see these burgundy gis now for sale? Because before it was always white, blue, black, military green, and pink. Those are like the main jujitsu colors I would always see all the time. Then you get like crazy, like mixed colors. But now I've seen these burgundies come around like, oh, that means kind of cool. I like the look of it personally. I can't wear one, so I'm a judo player. But I just liked it. Then I thought, okay, so these guys are making that the red side has to wear these burgundy gis. Blue side has to wear blue gi. Like, that's very interesting. So that's why I'm seeing all these gis now. Mm-hmm. So that's the mandatory right there. And they also had like how we have in judo, like has to be this length, this cut, this here, blah, 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 there, blah, 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 all this stuff. Okay. So let's go to what the throwing point system is. So, all right. All standing takedowns are 2 points. All right. So if it's a standing takedown, I'm assuming it's like, it could be any throw or maybe even a wrestling takedown. And I guess if you stand up with the person, get that height, it's 2 points. If it's a high amplitude takedown, so I'm guessing like Uchimata, Haragoshi, Ogoshi, most of the judo ones again, those are 3 points. So I take you down, I get 2 points wherever it is. Okay. High one, I get 3 points. Okay. It also says that you get a fast takedown plus 2 points. I have no idea what that meant. Fast takedown. I mean, it has to be like a really quick snap in, take the person down.
Yeah. I guess it's like Ippon versus like falling, uncontrolled fall kind of thing.
Because in the exclamation point, I can't talk right now. When they explain it, said that it was within 3 seconds, I think, tying up with somebody. Mm-hmm. So 3 seconds, 1, 2, shoot in for something. Yep. Or grab. It's like how we always talk about in judo: grab and throw. Get what you want, and then grab immediately and throw. So I could throw the guy, grab and throw. So I get 3 points for the Ippon Sonagi and then 2 points extra because it was very fast. So I get 5 points right there in my first throw, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And I assume these rules are the same for no gi and gi. So if I get a body lock throw or something on the person as well. All right. Important thing right here, that's right here when it comes to the throwing aspect or standing aspect was pulling guard can result in a negative point score. So I don't know if that means that if your first pull guard, well, yeah, they're gonna. Is that like be like, okay, that's a penalty for you, so we're gonna deduct 1 point for the pull guard or your partner?
Yeah, why negative? Why not just give a point to the other guy?
Yeah, kind of like how in wrestling now. When I was a young man, if I escaped the ring, there was nothing. It just got restanded. Nowadays, if I escape the ring, my opponent gets 1 point. So how they changed that? Maybe they'll work on this in the future. Oh, what's the next thing? Okay. Sweeps and reversals. That's when you get down to the ground. A sweep and reversal can be 2 points. So the person on top of me, I sweep them or I roll them over, whatever it's going to be, gets 2 points for you. All right. So now you get top position. A side mount would be 3 points. So I guess if you pass guard and go in the side mount, it'd be automatically 3 points. Or if I throw the person and immediately
get in the side mount,
Yoko Shiogotame, would that be 3 points? And I watched some of these matches. They were like like I was trying to like
scrambling. Yeah.
And I was watching this. I was like, is that point? Is that not a point? I see and this is one thing that's annoying to me. A lot of the matches I was watching, the judges wouldn't do like in wrestling, put up the fingers like 2 points for this right here. I put 2 points here, 3 points for that. It would always just be like, I'm like, what is that? But he's not doing it high right here. He's doing it really down low. And I'm like, am I supposed to count that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's 3 points. Write that down. 4 times. 4 times.
There's a scoreboard, right?
Yes, there is a real scoreboard. Okay. I'm thinking if I'm working the scoreboard, okay. Maybe he was actually yelling in Russian. I just couldn't understand him. But I didn't hear him say anything.
Okay.
Because he said in judo, we have like 1, 2, low, high, what we're doing and stuff. Wrestling, we put up the number of what we're throwing up to the person, like what the point is.
BJJ does that too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Amount is 4 points. So if I go to Yoko Shogotame to Tate Shogotame, it would be 4 points right there. Mm-hmm. All right. A back mount with a hold, which they actually had pictures on here. I sent a PDF.
Yeah.
With a hold was 4 points. What they counted as a hold was that you had to have your hooks in. Hooks in and what UBJ people call seatbelt position.
Seatbelt grip, yeah.
Yeah, seatbelt grip. That would be the hold. Now, if I have one hook in and I'm holding onto an arm, that's not considered back taking. I would have to control both wrists, I guess. What does the picture look like? It was both wrists and both
hooks.
Both hooks inside. If I had a figure 4 on you, body lock.
Body triangle. Body triangle,
yeah. Yeah. What's it? Dojime? Would that be? Yeah.
Technically, yeah. It could be. Yeah.
Dojime for judo players out there. That's not considered back control. I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, that's one of the strongest controls you can get.
And the funny thing is that's a wrestling thing. That's a thing I learned when I was like in middle school from wrestling. So
I much rather have that than the body triangle than 2 hooks. That's just my opinion. But
okay. All right. Now this is where they get into their attacks right here. So same as how in the Judo Submission Grappling was 1 point for submission attempt, which is where they may have got this from, is that with them is also 1 point for a submission attempt, but it has to be a close submission attempt. Right here, how they explain it.
all these. Well,
it's funny because you can actually look at the pictures of it on the PDF and stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. So if someone has me in an arm bar position, okay, and I'm right here with my gable grip, and they're just like right now, just watching a video, my arm's being pulled. Okay, so they're trying to pull my arm. This right here is not considered an attempt. Okay, the attempt is when you break the lock, and now my armpit's all dirty right here. Okay, there's a shadow, but my arm bar has to be out. Okay, it has to be out forward or whatever it is, has to be out straight. That is the attempt. Okay.
Okay.
If the choke in this one, it explains, has to be inside. Okay.
Can't have under the chin, basically.
Have it underneath the chin. You're attempting it. Okay. It can't be the attempt of like trying to get my fingers in or me trying to fight with the gi and stuff. I have to be choking you. You have to work out of the submission pretty much. Pretty much you have to fight out of the submission to get the 1 point for the submission attempt, which is also what I talked about when we were talking about how to fix me judo's Newaza stuff in a past episode.
Yeah.
If you get points for submission attempts. So this comes to that also.
I disagree with that. But
Why you disagree?
I don't think you should get points for it.
I think you should. Promote Newaza. All right. Okay. With control for 3. Now this one was kind of weird. So it was 1 point for a high amplitude takedown with control for 3 seconds. What does that mean? 3 seconds? Do I have to hold you in the air for 3 seconds? Do I hold you down for 3 seconds from the throw?
I think you mean, my interpretation is holding them down.
All right. So if I throw you with Ippon Nogi, you get high. Anthony's dying over here. Hold
I was sneezing. Sorry.
He doesn't like these rules so much. He's like, I can't take this.
Allergic to those rules.
All right. So those are the main points of it. They said that also. See, that's not that important.
So without going too much into it, like you watched it, what did you think? Like from a spectator, from someone who grapples, especially wrestling, from a spectator's point of view.
I thought, and that was So there's another thing about to talk about spectators, which is also similar to judo, was that you would get also passivity counted against you, which is similar to judo, where if you're passive, you stand back up. We're an action-based sport.
Yep. So
I think that was them trying to create the BJJ system that they're trying to do, and the nogi system more action-based. So you're not just staying there, wait, like the whole thing of like you wait for the right moment, then you attack, which I'm not sure if a lot of BJJ people are going to like that much, being forced to work the entire time. Because we get that sometimes arguments when we get BJJ people come to the dojo, and we tell them like, you have to do something. You have to do something. You get stood back up. You have to attack fast. You have to attack hard. They don't like that. So I wonder how they're going to react to this system right here, where if you're passive, you'll get points taken away from you, or you get stood back up immediately. So you can't just wait in the right moment and guard. Okay, I'm going to go right here, go for that leg lock. Oh, and same with their leg locks too. It has to be a full leg lock. If they have what they call like the boot on, so your toes are up right here and you're really stiffing it, like there's nothing there, that won't count as submission attempt.
Okay. Got it.
Weight classes, again, they're the same as judo. So if you're a judo player, they're all the same weight classes, nothing different.
Do you watch ADCC?
I've watched it, but I don't watch it.
Yeah. How would you compare to this? Because ADCC don't really have points, right? It's just, yeah.
I think, well, to me, same as always, submission attempts or submissions end it. If I armbar you, rear naked choke you.
Rear naked chick. We know what you're thinking now.
No. I swear, no. Knee bar, heel hook, all that stuff. You do any of that. Oh, that was another thing that what was it? That knee bars are legal, but heel hooks aren't.
I'm like deathly afraid of heel hooks, but to be honest, I haven't really learned it yet. So
yeah. So I think it was I have it written down somewhere in my notes, but whatever. I'm not gonna dig all the way through it. I believe it was that knee bars are legal. I think toe holds were legal, but heel hooks on both sides. Hold on, this is gonna bug me now. What was it? Inside heel hook illegal, outside heel hook illegal. Heel hook with American grip. What's an American grip? Is illegal.
Americana grip? Like American grip?
Maybe it's Americana grip. Americana grip. All right. You weren't allowed also to do any like catch wrestling stuff. So there was no face crank, no putting pressure on the throat at all was illegal, which I know in BJ, it depends on which tournament you go to. Some states, okay, you can put pressure on the throat, and some states you just can't squeeze.
Yep. Depends on the rule sets. Yeah.
Yeah. So I put pressure on your throat. I'm not squeezing you. I'm just going to put all my damn weight on your neck here. But that's illegal. Watching it, I liked it. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. I watched a few.
Because it was action based. Because we're judo players, because I'm a wrestler, I'm used to working the entire time. The match length that I saw, most of them were 5-minute long matches. And there weren't no rounds, nothing in between, like wrestling. Just like judo, you go straight 5. Until someone either gets a submission or points, which I thought was cool. So I like this because of that. I'm not a big fan of like one reason why I left BJJ is because it was just too plodding, like slow, wait for the right position. Now do something here. And I get it. It's because in judo, we have a thing where we wait for explosivity, we wait for the right moment to explode in. But you have to do it fast in judo. Yeah. It's not like we don't just walk around waltzing for like 2 minutes, just waiting for a right moment. You can waltz.
Well, I think if you look at some old school judo matches, I think they kind of look like that.
I'm talking about now, modern day judo. Don't you be talking back to me. So that was a question about what we thought about that. I try to give a good summarization of what it was to everyone out there. You can look up yourself. I thought it was very interesting. I liked it. It was more action based.
I think for your average spectator that doesn't really train or grapple, it might not be as interesting. Because most people tend to like to watch what they're familiar with. But as someone who trains, I always like watching different rule sets because there's always something different about it. Like maybe we're kind of going over time, a long time, so I don't want to talk about the contact jiu-jitsu.
Hey, it's only been an hour.
The contact jiu-jitsu we were talking about. Like the reason I discovered it was someone posted it in a martial arts Facebook group that I'm part of. And they're like, why did Red win? Red was dominating the whole time. And I'm just like, well, if you read the rules, Red was getting punched in the face every time she charged in.
Yeah.
So
Red's getting hit a lot here. You have to remember there's punches and kicks put into it. I remember you showed me that thing, you sent it to me, and I told you it reminded me of this Kaji Kempo tournament I did when I was in college. That was called Sports Jiu-Jitsu. And it was pretty much all, and it was very similar. Like it was all karate stand up. Like everything stand up was karate or kickboxing, whatever you want to call it. But then as soon as you got to the ground, it was all Newaza. It was all BJ. And that was the tournament where I almost got a guy, one in a Boston Crab and one almost in a real Scorpion Death block sharpshooter, which was really fun.
The summary is basically that was more like judo combined with sport karate, like point fighting karate, where you can't hit too hard. But if the rule sets were closer to sambo, combat sambo, then that person would have won because those strikes were ineffective and and the takedown attempts were more important. Yeah. So it depends on the rules, and it also goes to like if you get what's the point in getting a takedown if you get punched in the face 3 times before you get to it? You know, like so. Yeah, it depends on the rules, and it's interesting to see people do different things depending on the rule sets, which is why I hate it when people always ask the question, like, is BJJ better or is judo better or is wrestling better? Like, if a judoka fights a wrestler, who would win? Like, what rule set? What context?
Exactly.
Like a street fight? Like,
exactly.
Have they trained striking? Is striking allowed? Like, what about neck cranks, chokes? Like, it's kind of a stupid question, I think. And then you also have to talk about the attributes. Like, judokas are much more explosive. I don't think jiu-jitsu people on average are very explosive. Maybe you have some freaks out there in higher weight classes that would be, but in general, just comparing them is different. So all these rule sets are great. And I would like to see judo to have a structure kind of like BJJ that allows all these different rule sets to thrive and let the community decide based off of attendance which rule sets they like the best versus how in judo we're all forced to compete under IJF rule sets basically. So
yeah, I don't mind doing IJF rule sets. It doesn't bother me.
I mind. I personally mind.
But yeah, back to your what was that? It was jiu-jitsu.
Contact jiu-jitsu.
Contact jiu-jitsu. Look it up. It's very interesting. Again, that was another thing that I noticed with the videos that you sent me and the ones that I looked them up. This seems like another heavy European style because all the videos were European.
European, yeah.
I didn't see any American ones or Brazilian or Asian ones. So this is very interesting. Like it did when you first looked at it, like it's just sambo. But you can see that they're different striking, you know, where sambo.
The striking is karate point striking.
It was totally karate point striking. It was exactly karate point striking. And it's just the thing about you said, like different styles and stuff. You know what's something that I miss actually? Like I love MMA. I love MMA and stuff. And you maybe talk about MMA and all these things. But you want to know what I miss actually? Old school. I do miss Pride, but I get that. I get my little Pride fix with Ryzen and One Championship.
One in the early days was closer to Pride, and now One is like they're falling in the same trap as UFC. But yeah,
you don't know what you're gonna get with One. You don't know if you're getting a kickboxing match, a Muay Thai match.
Well, they don't allow
MMA
soccer
fight.
kicks anymore and all that kind of stuff. So
you want soccer kicks? Watch Ryzen. Soccer kicks.
Ryzen allows steroids. So
hey! Don't you throw accusations at them, okay? When are you talking your shit? But you want what I miss that I wish they would bring back? Old school King of Pancrase rules. Old school King of Pancrase rules. Because I thought those are very interesting. Like open palm strikes, no elbows, heel hooks, throws, taking like old school real King of Pancrase. I think it would be very fun to bring back.
I thought it was interesting that I watched the documentary about karate in Okinawa. Where it was founded basically. And they would say how like when they see people fight in the streets with closed fists, they know that they're either an amateur, like they don't know what they're doing, or they're just like play fighting. And they're like, when they fight with open palms, open fists, that's when you know it's serious. Like it's a serious fight. So
because I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slap you, palm strike you, just boom, put in your face.
So yeah, open palm fighting is I mean, they have bare knuckle wrestling, bare knuckle fighting now, which is like
but that's not Pancrase though. To me, it's just I enjoy like when I'm at work. Sometimes I'll watch like old Pancrase videos or Kid Shamrock and just the old guys back then. I thought there was very interesting, different style of fighting. You know,
Another thing I think people should check out for the United World Wrestling is that they also do the beach wrestling thing. Like I knew about beach wrestling before we got this question, and for me to look into it, and I'm like, oh, it's like the guys that run the beach wrestling. Apparently, beach wrestling only started recently. Like the world tournaments, international tournaments, only started recently around 2019 or 2018. I think I was doing some research into it. I've always talked about beach judo. Like it sounds fun. I don't mind getting thrown on sand. I know it's probably going to be a little harder than mats, but what I'm nervous about is like standing somewhere and like tweaking a knee, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm nervous about.
What I was going to say is that what we would do is that we would rake the sand first to like loosen it up, make it a little softer at first.
Yeah.
But then your foot might get stuck in there and someone just comes with a hard osotogari and your foot doesn't sweep. Your foot just sticks there.
That's what I'm like worried about. But I looked up the rules. It was pretty simple. It's like 1 point for like a takedown, like that lands in just like land in front. 2 points if you throw them onto their back, and then 1 point if someone steps out, any part of the body is out of the ring. That's 1 point. 3 minute period, no overtime.
Okay,
that's all there is. Like
very, very simple. But the UWW is doing a lot of stuff. Like I said, like they're already in charge of freestyle wrestling. They're already in charge of Greco wrestling. They're doing this BJJ gi, BJJ nogi, this beach wrestling. And we also talked about before, they had the Sambo division too. So they're doing, they have their hands on a lot of stuff right now.
I also admire people who have like really athletic looking bodies that look like they can like destroy people. And beach wrestling is like the perfect thing to look at that, you know, like.
What are you doing?
Hey, that's what my girlfriend who doesn't train. Not my girlfriend, my wife. Your girlfriend now doesn't train. My wife.
Does your wife know? Does your wife know about your girlfriend?
So she's like, when we went to Tokyo, she was just like, man, judokas have like the best bodies in the world. That's what she said.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You're too sweet. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about this episode, or is that it?
No, I think that's it. There's other stuff. Like we've been doing a lot of research on many topics. So we were kind of, I know yesterday we're like, what should we talk tomorrow? There's so much to talk about now that we've looked up all this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to talk most of this. We have plenty of material for next episode at this point, so we can do that. Okay. We are uploading some short videos on Uchikomi bands. So
we have the do's and don'ts of Uchikomi bands. We're going to teach you how to do stuff with the regular Uchikomi bands, fancier ones. If you buy some rubber bands on your own, you're going to do some resistant band work, old school stuff with the wall, and old school stuff with just your belt. And we're still going to make the video of like, is a tatami mat so soft it won't crack an egg? We're going to still have that video out.
We're going to do it in case on that. We're going to do that. That's going to be a short video. Maybe that will cut in line on to make it to the short videos, because I know
I promise you it will be out before Christmas. All right, I will be having a 6-pack of beer before Christmas that Anthony will pay for me.
Yeah, but one of the feedbacks that I got was that they wish that I'd take kind of like what Joe Rogan and Shintaro does on their podcast, is like cut out some highlights of the podcast episodes and then like make them into short videos on a different channel. So let me know if that's something you're interested, because actually it'll take me a lot of time to go through and cut it out and upload it and all that kind of stuff.
But what's the highlights? We don't know what the highlights are. You guys would tell us what the highlights are.
Well, yeah, I guess I would have to. I have statistics, so I can actually look it up. But
bring up the math.
Yeah. Well, they YouTube tells you when the most people have like paid most attention to and watched the most. So, other than that, also, what about the cadence of the short videos that like the Uchikomi band, the illegal techniques? Like, do you wish there's more videos of that coming out? It's like every other week, like on the weeks that we don't release this podcast episode, like good enough. You want to see longer videos, shorter, like, I don't know. Still want to hear your feedback on that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's all I have, I think.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us. You can follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. You can send us an email directly to us at tatamitalk@gmail.com. On Instagram, you can follow me at _1. You can follow Anthony at Anthony Throws. Anything else? Is that it?
Don't forget to slap the mat.
No, we got to figure. Okay. I'm going to say, don't forget to, and you're going to say slap the mat. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. So don't forget to
slap the mat.
All right, good. All right. See you guys next time.